Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching my build for Ember. Apologies if you're a fan in the background. It's summer currently in Australia, which means it's hot as balls. So I'm having the fan on because, well, because I'm hot and I don't like it. Alright, going into build for Ember. I have two main builds for Ember, and I don't actually use her that often, so I haven't bothered to actually form her out this aura mod, because I would probably prefer it as a dash aura so I could have corrosive projection in there. But currently it starts as a V polarity, so that's what I've got it as. So I've chucked in Steel Charge in there because, quite frankly, it's the best V polarity you can chuck in there. All it does is increase your melee damage. Pretty much entirely useless on Ember, except for these 18 points that you get, which are nice. For a movement mod, I've got Cunning Drift in there, which is slide and less friction, but also the ability range is why it's here. Continuity is ability duration. Constitution is fast knockdown and ability duration. Streamline is efficiency. I have Umbral Intensify in here simply because I can fit Umbral Intensify and it's an extra 6% ability strength. So there's that. Above regular Intensify, that is. A regular Intensify is just 30 ability strength. This gives you 36 with the rank I have it now. Max Vitality in there, just for survivability. Blind Rage, here for the strength, that gets rid of your efficiency. Stretch, is just ability range, and Augur Reach, also ability range. As far as Arcanes, I have Arcane Consequence, because it's just generally good, gives you movement. And I have Arcane Ice on her, just because it seems thematically relevant. It lowers your chance of getting damaged by fire, which makes sense to me. But what this gives you is 178 duration, 105 efficiency, 190% range, and strength is 181. What you may expect this build is actually for, I'll go into the abilities and describe them now, is for her for World on Fire. I'll go through all her abilities now before I show you the second build. Start off, we have Fireball. It's as simple as it sounds. You literally just throw a Fireball. It does a chunk of damage, and it has a bit of area effect. It's kind of meh. I honestly don't find myself using it that often. For 24 energy as well, on my current build, which is pretty much base, I think it's 25 at base. It seems too expensive to use most of the time, I find. If this was like a third of the energy price, I'd probably use it like just occasionally, because it's cheap and there's no reason not to. Secondly, she has Accelerant on her number 2, which is a stun, and increases all your fire damage, which is fairly useful, really, when you think about it, considering all of her damage is fire damage, pretty much. But on my current build, it's got a radius of 38 meters, duration of 53 seconds, and damage multiplier of 4.5, so it's a fairly significant damage multiplier, particularly for World on Fire. Fire Blast is her equivalent of what the Fire Eximus do. She does this big wave, and it does damage initially, to start with, the actual wave does. And it also, when you shoot out from it, if you're standing inside it and shoot out from it, adds fire damage to your weapons. I'm not actually sure how much fire damage it adds. I've never done the calculations on it, but again, it could be better. I feel like they should just give her what the Fire Eximus have, or the Flame Eximus have, where it's that big thing that goes through walls and just hits everything. That would be a better option, I feel, rather than this adding fire damage to your weapons, because it requires you to stand in one place and fire your weapons outside this ring. And if you stand in one place on higher level stuff, you just die a lot of the time. But then is where she gets quite good, is her World on Fire. Essentially, you turn this on, and things die all around you. That's pretty much it. This has a 30 meter radius on mine, like 28.5. Does 724 damage, I should say. And a 63% chance to start burn, and it costs 1.6 energy a second, so it's very, very cheap to do. It's worth noting that this energy per second rate isn't just affected by efficiency, it's also affected by duration, which is why I have a fairly high duration on her as well. But, now we've gone through them, I'll look at my second build, which is a Firequake build. Firequake is a augment ability you can get for her, which gives 100% knockdown whenever an enemy gets hit with World on Fire. So essentially this is more of a control-based World on Fire build. I won't go through it because it's virtually the same build. It's just that I have regular Intensify in here rather than Umbral Intensify. I have Firequake rather than something else. Augur Reach. and I couldn't fit, because of the way that I've structured this now, I can't fit Cunning Drift, so I just have a lower powered Power Drift, which gives you ability strength, essentially. But this gives the same amount of range, and it lowers the strength a bit, and lowers the duration a bit, so it's slightly less efficient, and it's slightly less damage, but you have a huge amount of control, because everything is just knocked down all the time. I'm currently formery a static core, which is why I've got this on here. Not that it really matters. But if we go into... what's this? I'll chuck you to level 50, because level 100 may be a bit over the top. As you can see here, this is with my normal build. Everything's on fire. Which is essentially what she does. She just lights things on fire. And you'll notice the things aren't particularly dying. And that is my biggest complaint about Ember, is the fact that she doesn't scale particularly well. She's really good at wiping out up to level 30 or 40 enemies. When you start hitting up to level 50 and above, granted there are some healers around here, so I'll get rid of them just to show my point even more. The good thing is, of course, you can just... whoops. You can just run around, which means that you're not going to be getting hurt while you're doing a lot of damage. Where is this other healer? I swear I saw another healer around here. Oop. Bombard's still a problem, obviously. There was another healer, I'm sure of it. There's definitely a healer over there, because that guy should be dead. Also, there's the fact that you can run out of energy. I fell off the edge. Falling off the edge is death in the simulacrum. It's also worth noting I'm not using any of my other abilities, I'm just using 4. If you use Accelerant, then pop your 4. It does do more damage. If you look at the ticks that that's doing. It ups your damage fairly significantly. Oop, down I go again. Which, once again, kind of the problem that she has. I could just use my static core and murder them all. But case in point, that build is not particularly good for level 50 enemies. If we go to my Firequake build, however, if we go to this build, this has less power, so you're doing less damage, however. Do the same thing with level 50 enemies. Simulate. I didn't get energy before I did this, so it makes it slightly more difficult. There we go. Now you notice everyone's getting knocked down. And when you have a bombard that's continuously being knocked down, they're far less of an issue. So once again, not a huge amount of damage, but makes them function. Oh, you're still alive. Not anymore. It makes them functionally useless because they're getting knocked over constantly. It's also worth noting that when you've got an open area like this, it's not as useful as in corridors because this will hit through walls. So if you're standing here and there's a guy like down there, he'll be hit by your world on fire. So in most of the game, where a lot of it is corridor based and there's a lot of narrow areas where you can hide, world on fire is also more useful in general. However, to show where she really kind of shines, what I should do is I go back to my normal build and say there's something you need to do in a mission that's got like level 25 enemies. 25, 30. It's not exactly... I didn't stimulate, did I? There we go. Pretty low level shit. Take out agents like before. And then everything dies. From very little effort of you, you just kind of run around and things just die. In fact, I think everything is already dead. Let's turn off world on fire. Yes, everything is already dead. For low level shit, you don't really have to even shoot anything. You can kind of just run around and things will die, which is very useful if you want to do a low level mission very quickly. An exterminate, for instance. You have a low level exterminate you've got to do to get like a nitane extract or something. It makes things... Particularly, let's get rid of what I had there and instead do... I reckon. Let's do 10 butchers, 10 corrupted crewmen, and... a couple of nullifiers. In fact, no, I can't. I can only do 20. Okay, do that. So you get basic bitch enemies. Let's push 4. Hit accelerant. Ups your fire damage by about 4 times. Things kind of just melt. And that's where her niche is, really, is going through sort of mid-tier, not even mid-tier, low to mid-tier missions and just clearing them out entirely. Which does save a lot of time, which is nice, but, that's Ember. Also, I was worth noting I was using Ember Prime during this, but Ember is much the same. I think she would, actually, regular Ember would take an extra former, which is worth noting. I only have 1 former in my Ember Prime, but regular Ember takes 2 to get to this same level. So that is worth making note of. But, all in all, she's alright. It's not great. It's not bad. She's just... she does what she does well, and other than that, there's not a huge amount to say, unfortunately. But thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. I've already done Equinox, because I skipped Ember for some reason. So, my next one will be... let's see... oh, Excal. How interesting. Thanks for watching, I shall see you next time.